Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Let's go. Let's move on to the Chargers. Last year the Chargers had a very disappointing season. They kept their coach the year before, got rid of him this off season, or halfway through last season. 5-12. They were 5-12 last year. Really disappointing. Let's go into our favorite moves. We'll start with you, Travis. What was your favorite move that the Chargers made?
Unfortunately, they are building an offensive line that is going to be a wall and could be within a year or two one of the best in the NFL. It's just not. Alt obviously there is the one that gets all the attention, but and I forgot to write it down. The other one they signed too. They're figuring out they got to protect Herbert better.
Yeah, and like the Chiefs kind of figured out, like if you got a great quarterback, all you need to do is give him time back there. And I think that's the way that the Chargers are building this thing out, which is smart. What about you, Matt?
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's what
There's
I have
no
too.
way Jim Harbaugh will make the mistakes that Staley made. Staley was a horrible. I still have what I said last year about Staley, because Staley was the worst. Wasn't the worst coach in the division. That was the Raiders coach to start the division. But he made horrible decisions. So Jim Harbaugh is a proven winner. He's done it wherever he's gone. And that guy can coach, motivate. So Jim Harbaugh, hands down.
Yeah,
He's the only coach I would have wanted realistically, even more than Pierce.
Yeah.
Pierce was with my heart. Harbaugh was with my head.
Yeah. Well, he's done it before, so it makes a lot of sense. That's who you'd want. I'm with you. That was my big thing. This team is going to come out with a toughness that I just don't think they would have had under Staley. And I think we were a little down on Staley last year in the podcast. I was definitely, especially, and so okay, so we were all kind of down on him. Tyler was a little like you with Josh McDaniels, if I remember correctly, where he was kind of defending him. But after that 27-3 playoff loss, I just felt like it was over for him. This is going to be, I think, like the division, and this is part of the reason why I don't have the Raiders. I like what they did, but I just think that this is going to be tough for this division. I think he's just a hard-nosed coach, and that's part of the reason why I like the Raiders getting Pierce, because I think you'll need that hard-nosed coach to battle the hard-nosed coach. But Jim has done it before. I trust in him, and yeah, I think that was a home run. That was a home run move for them.
Yeah.
Okay, least favorite move. Let's start with you, Matt.
I think Alt was fine drafting him. You want to shore up that line. But I tell you, not grabbing a wide receiver like Neighbors or Odunze, and Odunze is my favorite wide receiver that came out in the draft this year. But Neighbors, with that speed and his ability with Justin Herbert, that would have been a special connection. And I think that was a mistake not drafting that wide receiver, because you could have this was an offensive line deep draft. And you could say it was a wide receiver deep draft too, but I just think Neighbors is a special talent.
Yeah, but I think we see it like with wide receivers. Every draft has been like deep with wide receivers, but like the top end wide receivers always stick out, right? Like the last couple of years, it's been the top couple wide receivers. People are not missing on wide receivers typically, in the top of the draft. I'm with you. I have least favorite move is basically just not addressing it that much, right? Like they didn't really address the DJ Charks. You guys talked about Lad, but I just think like you need weapons, especially when you go up against a team like the Chiefs twice a year. You gotta be able to keep pace with them, especially if Mahomes goes for like 4 touchdowns in a quarter, which we know he's capable of. I just don't know if they have weapons that I truly trust. Right now, they could all end up being awesome, like Palmer and Ladd and them. But for right now, I'm just like, from what we know, they don't really have that strong of a receiver core, and that's my least favorite, not addressing that enough. Travis, what about you?
I was going to say the receiver core too. However, I do want to play devil's advocate with Harbaugh about the receiver core, because I was thinking about this going around and around. It wouldn't make any sense based on his track record of having, blazing outside receivers. He didn't really have it in San Francisco. Michigan was more of relatively slower paced offense. So I think, I mean, yeah, as a fan, if I was a Chargers fan, I'd want those receivers for Herbert, but I kind of wonder if this the direction that they're going is more, 10 yards, 20 yards down the field at the most, more with a power running game eventually. And so, not that I'm going to question anything that like you said, Harbaugh wins every place he's gone, whether it's San Diego College or whatever that was to Stanford. So, but that's my least favorite was that they didn't address that. They let a lot go, but maybe I don't know. We'll see how that goes in Chicago for a lot for Mike Williams, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, because I think if you're going to have one group on the offense or receiving, like I don't want to compare everything to the Chiefs because they do have a once in a generational player in like Patrick Mahomes, but last year that receiving core was awful, like the amount of drops, all that stuff, and they got to the Super Bowl. So like you can find wide receivers, I think you can make it work, and Jim Harbaugh's smart enough to make it work. But guess what? It also helps having wide receivers too, like somebody to blow off the top of the defense just to keep the field spread, just the threat of it, right? Like, which is what we're going to talk about when we get to the Chiefs. When we talk about Brown, I'm going to mention him, but like you need that stuff. So it's sort of a nitpick, but I think, like when you have a special talent like Herbert, make it as easy as possible for him. Having a couple good weapons would be nice. That's all.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Let's go to green flag. What's your biggest green flag then, Travis, for the Chargers?
Harbaugh is going to come up in this conversation a lot. He is the biggest green flag because of the splash that he's made, and to me it's beyond even the Chargers. He's going to change the culture in that place. He was ran out of when he left San Francisco. He was ran out of there by an owner it was like Jimmy Jones mentality at the time. But for Harbaugh to be such a splash. And I've seen interviews where Raiders players, Broncos players, even Chiefs players, none of them are talking about the Chiefs. They're all talking about beating the Chargers. And that's an amazing thought to think that you have a team in your division that's going for a three-peat, and the thought of we got to beat the Chargers is already coming out in training camp.
Yeah. I think everybody agrees how good of a hire that was. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I already lauded Harbaugh enough, so I'm just going to go O-line.
Yeah.
That O-line is going to be really good, and
Yeah.
that helps the run game, that helps the passing game, and that is going to be Herbert's best friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I put toughness as their green flag. They're just because of their coach, but specifically even the defensive side of the ball. I know we'll maybe talk about their age or whatever, but they do have a lot of name players that are familiar. And I just think the thing that they lacked on defense so much is toughness. Their defense was always performing. If Harbaugh brings that toughness to that defense, I think it's going to be something to watch. I think they could realize their potential a little bit with a guy like Harbaugh, especially going from Staley to Harbaugh. Like it's the same like McDaniels to Pierce. Like when you go from a coach that nobody likes or trusts, and you get this guy in there that you're like motivated, ready to run through walls and whatever. Like it's just a different atmosphere. So I think that toughness is their green flag going into the season. Red flag. Let's go with you first, Matt. What's your red flag?
Kind of join two together, and that's health and age, especially on the defense. I don't think there's an injury that Joey Bosa doesn't like getting. So when he runs through that wall for Harbaugh, I just wonder what's he going to look like on the other side, because that guy cannot stay healthy. Mac is getting old, and I know his knees are not the greatest. And everyone says Mac had this great year, and he did have a good year. And I love Mac. I'm wearing my Mac jersey. He was a player that I never wanted to see leave. But 6 of those sacks came against a coach with so much hubris. I love that word. And putting a rookie quarterback out there and not protecting that rookie quarterbacks. He sacked O'Connell 6 times. So what did he end up with? 17 sacks for the year?
Yeah.
6 of them came in one night against a rookie and an overmatched O-line. So I just think health, another one, who is it? 33 might have changed his number. They're all changing their numbers.
Oh, James.
Yeah, that guy gets hurt all the time too, and he had a really down year last year.
Yeah, that's the thing with the health part of it. Like a lot of big names, I think, and maybe Travis, you'll expound on this, but a lot of big names, it could be really good, but like, what's the history with these players? Go ahead, Travis. What's your red flag?
I was gonna say Herbert's health. I mean, you know, I think they think he's going to start week 1, but he's dealing with a foot issue or whatever. And last year he was out late, didn't make the entire season. And the year before, I know he was hurt. So, I mean, maybe the offensive line helps mitigate some of that, but without him, I'm not sure how that offense operates. I mean, maybe they switch the offense completely or something, but yeah. And like I said earlier too, I agree. The age on the defensive side of the football would be something I'd worry about if I was a Chargers fan too.
Yeah, I think Jim is going to bring his ground and pound style into and just protect Herbert, and you'll probably see a version of the Lions offense where you're running 2 different running backs, because like they got J.K. Dobbins who can't stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he's solid, and Gus Edwards, you know how he runs. So, and then you just basically protect your quarterback until you need him to throw like play action and rollouts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, his health, as long as Harbaugh tries to protect him, I think he'll be okay. But that is a concern, because you can't have your quarterback be injured. But yeah, it's yeah, we'll see how they do. But the injury and the age, that's the thing with the Chargers. That is, I think, the big red flags that we can agree on here. Fantasy go-to, Travis.
Where did I put it here? I'm gonna go Lad McConkey.
Okay.
And my reason for that is because he might be the only one that Herbert can throw to. I mean, I really do think they're going to try to get him immediately in the offense. I know everybody says he's not that big, but neither was Amendola or what's the other guy in New England all those years.
Wes Welker,
Edelman. Edelman.
Yeah.
Them.
All 3 of them.
I mean, but to me, that's what kind of a player he strikes me as. And if Harbaugh's going to run a more run first offense, some guy like that is going to thrive, I think, in that type of a setting.
So you have Lad McConkey. Okay. What about you there, Matt?
I think Herbert is the safest because I'm not in love with any of these players.
Sure.
But if you can get the starting running back,
you took mine.
and whoever the starting running back is, and ride him for 4 weeks until he gets hurt, and then pick up the backup, I think they're going to run. So whatever running back is the hot running back, I'd grab him.
Yeah, Gus Edwards right now is being drafted 116 overall, the 35th running back off the board. Let me check Dobbins real quick, because that's what I was going to say. If you can get the starting running back on this 121 41st running back, just as a flyer, he doesn't have to be a starter, but as a flyer, because that Harbaugh is going to run the ball, and like you guys already mentioned, the offensive line, they're going to be good. So there's going to be holes. So I think if you can get an opportunity to snag one of these running backs, you might like for 4 to 5 weeks, you might have a starting running back or whatever. And then like maybe even handcuff them if you have like, let's say if you're going 8th round to 9th and you got like the 10th pick and then the first pick in the next round, or the 10th and the 4th or whatever it amounts to, that you can draft them back to back, and then you have a handcuff as well. So you'll have the running back either way. So that's what I had as well.
Yeah, I do believe that he's going to do that, and I do believe, just like Matt said, by week 5 or 6, he'll be on the sideline, wearing a jacket, cardigan, whatever, you know,
with a brace, yeah, some sort of brace. Yeah,
A cardigan in LA.
yeah.
Cardigan. Okay, let's predict the Chargers season. Now what do you got as far as prediction for the Chargers?
7-10.
Okay. What about you, Travis?
I'm opposite. I'm 10-7.
Okay, see, I have them 10-7 as well. And again, it just comes down to and obviously quarterback is so important, but if Herbert's healthy, we saw what he could do with Brandon Staley as his coach. Like, I think Jim Harbaugh is better. If Herbert gets injured, obviously I think it could be worse, but I have them at 10-7 as well.
I mean, I put them at 10-7 because I think that they're going to win a lot more of their close games than they lose, unlike what they've done.
Yeah.
Just because of Harbaugh.
And they get a 4th place schedule too. So it's like like they're not like healthy. They are not a 4th place team in a division, although this division's a little tougher. So, but for the most part, I wouldn't say they're fourth place.
I think they're a year away.
They probably,
and you might be right.
Honestly, they probably are a year away.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.